March 24th, 1984 was an important day in history, for it was my birthday. While my birth may be the most important event of the year, there are also many other events that changed the course of the world in 1984. Advancements in the areas of space, medicine, technology, and human rights made 1984 an important year that shaped the world into what it is today. So buckle up and take a ride through history with me. To begin our journey through 1984, let's blast off into space. On February 7th, astronauts Bruce McCandless II and Robert Stewart made the first untethered spacewalk. This was possible with a specially designed jetpack, which allowed the astronauts to control their propulsion instead of having to be tethered to the space shuttle. During April the 24th, the sun released an X-13 solar flare. This was important because flares of the X classification can cause blackouts, radio disruptions, and at the time, this was the second most powerful X solar flare on record. Now that we've had our head up in the clouds, let's come back down to Earth and examine the advancements in medicine. On February 3rd, brought the birth of a baby who was the first successful result of an embryo transfer. The embryo transfer was made possible by Dr. John Buster and his team at the UCLA Medical Center. On September 10th, British geneticist Alex Jeffreys developed genetic fingerprinting. This method was huge in assisting the forensic scientists with solving crimes. And since we're examining the events of Earthside, let's take a look at how human rights were affected in 1984. After a 5-year battle, on May 7th, Vietnam War veterans suffering from the illness and disabilities caused by Agent Orange were awarded a settlement of $180 million. A few months later, on July 17th, the National Minimum Drinking Age Act was passed, which made consumption and possession of alcohol illegal for those under the age of 21. Before the act, states controlled the drinking age, which ranged from 18 to 21. All of the advancements I've talked about thus far would have been near impossible for me to share with you without the technological advances made in 1984. On January the 24th, Apple released the Macintosh computer to the public. The computer cost $2,500. The advancement led to computers being available in people's homes like they are today. That was quite a trip. Now that we safely made it back through the events of 1984, you can unbuckle those seatbelts and let's take a relax while we take a recap through the events of our trip. We had our head up in the clouds learning about the first untethered spacewalk and the X-13 solar flare. Then we came back down to Earth and learned about the 1984 successful embryo transfer, genetic fingerprinting, the settlement for the Vietnam veterans, and the legal age of drinking alcohol, and also the sale of the computer. It turns out that your lives really were shaped by 1984, and not just because I was born.